Now it's better. See, I had the wrong thing clicked. There it is. Hi. Sorry. I had a whole story. Thanks. I see the... Yes. All better now. Hi. What I was saying is that I was tinkering under my desk right up to showtime, and that's why I forgot to throw that one switch. I'm sorry. So anyways, welcome. Happy Thursday. What I was saying is that I have... my family FaceTime every Thursday with the fam, so I bump up the show on Thursdays, even though I know it throws a monkey wrench into some people's lives. But I'm sorry, but we're a family first kind of a organization over here. I'm starting a thing called make my family great again. I'll figure it out later. It won't fit on a shirt anyways. Every time I try, I add another letter. But I had a hard time naming the show today. I really did, on a bunch of fronts. The main one being is that, what's the overarching theme when you're doing, say, one of the Trump speeches or something like that? It's pretty direct. Even though he's a rambly mess, you can kind of focus on Trump as a rambly mess, and that's your title for the show. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of evergreen. The hard part, though, is that now that... I forget what movie it was. Do you know, there was some movie where... I know there was The Prophecy, where, like, Christopher Walken goes, like, I'm an angel, but a devil and an angel at the same time, and then he turns into a bunch of crows. You know what I'm talking about? Or those, like... there was some, like, one of the Mummy movies, maybe, where a guy falls... and as soon as he hits the ground, he turns into bugs and they all scatter. Okay, that's basically the greatest analogy for the Trump presidency I can find. Because as soon as Trump kind of hit the ground as, losing on the election and then all the subsequent losses and the continuing losses, which are just choice, all of the stories about him just kind of scattered in all directions. I mean, Mike Pill, there's some threads, you could... There's something similar, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something similar about the nasal twitchiness of, say, Mike Pillow and Don Jr. You know what I mean? Like, but there's a thread there. I can't imagine what it may be. But then there's also just kind of the abstract scattering of every talking point. Every time the Republicans get a talking point, they're like, this is it! Critical race theory, here we come! And then it just dies like it died when they tried it on other people, or if they're like, inflation is the thing, and then the Wall Street Journal and Fox Business and all these are like, really, we're looking down the barrel of deflation if we're not careful. They're like, right? So they're really having, I almost feel for them, you know what I mean? Like there was a big jump in new housing sales, like construction starts in June. That kind of screwed the pooch as far as talking points, and they're like, well, yeah, but there was a 3.1% drop or 2.1% drop in permits or whatever. Like, yeah, that's just because the assholes in local government, most of them Republicans, either hoping for a little bit of developer graft, like, I'm going to hold on to this permit until you can grease my wheels a little bit, or flat out just going, I don't want all these people living in my neighborhood, wink, wink, and just stopping home building. That has nothing to do with the Biden administration. It's local zoning, right? So, hair's a little flat today. It is, I got to admit. It looks like I flat ironed it, but I didn't. I got circa 1977 Ace hair today. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Let's see if we should have we should do my hair like the weather. Let's see. Find an old. Yeah, something like this kind of zone. Bring this down here. Open this thing up. Hold on. This is always. I'm always just adding stuff to my trouble pile. All right. We'll try and drag this over here. Yeah. So like kind of around here, except I don't actually have. I could do with some bangs, I suppose. This, you know what I mean? Like this kind of zone right here. Like, this is pretty ballpark. You know? Not as dark. My hair's brown, but, you know, it could work. I'm just saying. All right, and I've got to turn off Dropbox because that's been eating stuff in the background. Like, I literally have to, until that video card arrives, this computer's kind of like a Pinto going uphill with the air conditioning on. I got to turn it off. So that's the hair report currently. We have a like two fronts meeting in a hair tornado. No bangs. I mean, I look all right with bangs. Somebody posted a picture of me as Father Chip the other day from Nightstand, which I hadn't seen in ages. I had this length of hair and bangs at the time. It was okay. Looked all right. You know. I had a joke, but I'm polite. Simmer, Debbie. All right. Yes, I am an hour early. And the reason I'm an hour early is because on Thursdays, my family does FaceTime and at a time that has been planned before the even live stream existed. And I am maintaining that because family. There. Yeah. All right. Brought to you by Hal's Hair. That's right. This is it's my only sponsor is my own choice in hair stuff. Now, the other thing too is, where do we even start today? Holy hell. I mean, there is so much crazy fun to be had. Okay, first of all, Mike Lindell wants to give out $5 million to anybody who calls bullshit on his cyber evidence at his cyber symposium. Of course, you can't be a member of the media. You have to be a credentialed cyber somebody. I mean, he'll probably lay it out. But look at this fucking ridiculous graphic stuff. I will give him credit for not going to Fiverr like Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity. Also, Greg Kelly is pitching a fucking fit these days. Like, I mean, we all know he's a pitiful dick, but there's something, I mean, he looks like he's got that, Mom, my penis looks special today look on his face. It's very strange. Then, of course, Brian Kilmeade is on, that's not Brian Kilmeade, but Brian Kilmeade is on Kudlow. Ew. And I guess they're trying to outdumb each other, but this one I haven't watched. I just like the title. This one's called Brian Kilmeade, I Couldn't Be More Disappointed. That just makes me laugh. Knowing Brian Kilmeade the way I do. I had Brian Kilmeade, I was on Fox and Friends. We had clips of theirs on Talk Soup. He's, bless his heart, he's always been, as Blackadder would say, thick as a whale omelet. Yeah, and then of course, I don't know that I have ever seen Jimmy Dore this relaxed in my whole fucking life. He does his whole show like he's gonna fall into the camera, like everything is this, with this big fake laugh thing that he does, and the whole thing, like all this, like kind of like angry verbosity posing his humor. Look at him on Tucker's show, man. It's like they just got done blowing each other after a ski trip, and I've never, look how laid back he looks. Good, look at you. And he's even got a jacket on. He didn't, and he shows up on the date, and Tucker's wearing, I don't know, something from the Counting Crows collection, but Jimmy shows up in a jacket and a shirt, no tie, of course. I mean, they're in a log cabin. So, and remember, Tucker likes wood. So I have to hear what the hell this is. And by the way, this is about identity politics. And then Stankfield's mommy issues about Nancy Pelosi, and we'll get to that. But I think we start with Mike Lindell. I think we gotta, because he's not at he's in a different location than his normal chiropractor's office that he's normally sitting in. And I think he's at his optometrist's, but we'll see. He's got a lovely whorehound and raspberry hard candy tie on. It looks crunchy. It looks delicious. We'll find out if he starts gnawing it in the middle. And don't forget, he's got frankspeech.com. I've got fwank.com. FWANQ.com, FWANQ. Don't forget to subscribe on Twitch, please. If you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. You use Amazon Prime. You have it. You don't do any good with it. You should there are two things you should do if you have Amazon Prime. You should subscribe on Twitch to my channel because it doesn't cost you anything and it helps the show. And you should use the Smile Amazon feature to make all your purchases in the name of Wild Horse Ranch Rescue. That's all I ask. Also, I have a public wish list. This is getting a little OnlyFans right now. I'm sorry. Does Tucker wear shit like that shirt ever? No, he doesn't. This is his Fox Nation poserton bullshit. So yeah, Mike is a pillow pusher. He's a comforter farmer. We'll see. I gotta see this, guys. $5 million. I could use $5 million. I could build with $5 million. I could build 1/5 the studio that Glenn Beck farts up every week. Here we go.
I want to deconstruct this picture. This thing. You're
Okay, first of all, Steve Bannon is starting this little segment off by fucking with you about your graphics. And this is coming from Steve Bannon, who has had the same War Room pandemic graphic for a year, even though it's over, right? Was it ever a pandemic? This asshole thinks it was a plandemic, doesn't believe, thinks Trump should get credit for the vaccine, but doesn't think anybody should take it. I mean, it's magical, Steve Bannon thinking. And he's going to fuck with this is spectacular. It's very, and there's lots of the numbers. There's the packet captures in the background. There's some sort of
the thing in back of you with Mike Lindell for our podcast and radio audience is a picture of Mike Lindell with the 5 million cyber symposium, and you've got the data, some of the data package or data captures in back of you that you're standing in front of the screen, and it just
alleged packet captures
happens to be Maricopa County. Only Mike Lindell can give that full heckle, right? So tell us about that. You think that scared people off?
No, it did not.
Well, I think it scared the mainstream media because now they don't want to give it any publicity.
Well, yeah, it'd be really embarrassing if the mainstream media went down to Maricopa County and found out that there were some fake votes, but they were all for Trump. No wonder they're avoiding it. Prove me wrong. Hey, Mike Lindell, I'll see your $5 million. I have some. I'll give you one John Wick coin. I've got one sitting around here somewhere. It's worth the same. A John Wick coin I bought off Amazon as a prop is equal to the $5 million that he's pretending he's actually going to give someone.
Publicity at all. They don't want to talk about it, but
I talked about it. I laughed about it. What kind of talking are we talking?
I got news for them. One of the things yesterday is we started sending out invites, and it's been amazing response, especially by the politicians. We've already got at least 7 states represented. I'm not going to...
Wait a minute. 7 state representatives?
Name who's coming.
Well, no, because if you did, they would not show up, and then you'd go, he promised he was coming.
I've already promised people that. We're not going to name them.
Yeah, Paul Gosar.
But as soon as we get all 50 states, each day I think we'll say, hey, now this state's...
Yeah, yes. As soon as you get someone from all 50 states, what the fuck is this? Who cares?
Represented. This state's represented. So, the media is going to have to come around, Steve, and
they're not.
They're just very afraid going, now what are we going to do? He's actually going to show the evidence we knew he had all along.
If we knew he had it all along, why would we be afraid that you were showing it? I've watched all your movies. You don't have what you think you have. This is dumb. But I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I want this to happen. I am 100% behind the Cyber Symposium, and I would love a shot at that $5 million, Mike, if I may. Is there a shelf life on it? Do I have to do it that weekend? Or can I just watch you fail, let everybody forget about it, and then, next June, go, by the way, hey, fuckhead, this was all bullshit. And then you still have to pay me $5 million? And is it the first person or anybody? Because I have a bunch of friends who can bring up the exact same evidence.
Well, that little piece behind me there, imagine 37 terabytes, the whole election, everybody.
Yeah, the 37 terabytes. That's almost 4 times the Parler dump.
It captures from...
And 16 times the MAGA coin leak.
The whole
which sounds gross.
election. It's over. It's over. As long as we all watch the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah, as long as everybody is riveted by it, buys your bullshit, and doesn't look any further than this bizarre techno snow job that someone else has sold you. Just don't look at... Just watch not the whole live stream, obviously, just the stuff they live stream. They'll have problems with the feed that day.
Of August, watch on frankspeech.com. It's going to be...
Yeah, watch on frankspeech.com. Frank's Speech is not to be confused with frankspeech.com. frankspeech.com is is the next URL I have to buy to drive people to my sites. Fwank.
Going to be live streamed 72 hours straight. It's going to make the old...
Well, will it all be straight, or after hours does it get a little gay?
old Frankathon we had look like a Tinker Toy.
The Frankathon looks like a Tinker Toy already. And what do you got against Tinker Toys?
We're going to run it straight through all these different things. Steve, I want to tell you, too, we also have a replacement. We have a replacement system for the machines we're going to unveil, too, at the symposium.
Oh, nice! A Mike Lindell voting mechanism. He's good. Guys, not only have the maggots and cyber ninjas all over the country under the direction of Mike Lindell's bizarre cult of Trumpistan, not only have they removed the voting machines that the people of these states have paid for and fucked with them so much that they can't use them again and have to throw them out and buy whole new ones because they don't know if any malware was placed on them. All that. But not only you just buy Mike Lindell's machine. It's it's basically it's exactly like a regular voting machine, except it's just a pillow you scream into when Trump never wins again. It's a pillowcase that looks like the front of an ES&S machine, and you just go like that. It's good.
Symposium. Problem solution.
That's what I think of when I think of Mike Pillow. Problem solution. Flagging energy, crack cocaine.
Fix the problem of the 2020 election. Donald Trump will be back in by the fall. And
by the fall. What the fuck was this August shit? The fall. Fall of what? 2036? What is this?
And then we have a whole...
The Freedom Voter 9000, right. Hello, Mike Pillow 9000. I would like to vote for Joe Biden, please. I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
Solution for the 2022 election, getting rid of all these machines. All the people...
What's the solution then? Purple fingers and bingo cards?
People that put in on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, you put in all this stuff for campaigns and all the work that goes into it and the resources. You better not have China picking our election officials again.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think the parties are worried about, is that they're spending all this money on their candidates and they can't... Then China picks them. I mean, why? It's a waste of money.
Hold it.
We want to get the money out of politics. We want to keep the money in politics. We just want it spent on the right people that they're trying to put in the...
We got breaking news here. You're telling me... I know...
Yeah, this is breaking news. And again, Steve Bannon is laughing at this dumb fuck. And they ran an ad for My Pillow right before he came on. They'll run one right after. They got a promo code and a license share or whatever, a revenue share that goes with it. And he's just... I mean... Steve Bannon's a scumbag, but there's a certain point where this is like making fun of a mentally challenged person. While picking their pocket.
I know about, and we've walked through the structure of the 10th and 11th and 12th, but it's going to be constant now, 24 hours. There's going to be 72 hours live stream nonstop.
Yeah, nobody's going to be watching your shit that day, Steve Bannon. They're going to be locked in just like full. They're gonna have a just nonstop coffee and a hose attached to their asshole. They're just gonna I can't stop watching. They're gonna have those like Clockwork Orange eye holders. I mean, if they're patriots.
Yeah, nonstop. We're going to have
Nonstop.
Now, you might have some in the middle of the night where we loop it because I've had so many requests from overseas that they want to watch it too. So,
well, there's not going to be a Mike Pillow sleepy cam where you're on your own, like a bed made of your own pillows.
we will be live streaming, but some of it might be in a loop. The
So it'll be on Frank's Speech and frankspeech2.com.
real important pieces
Yeah, totally important.
that come up during the day where
Are you going to be like Jerry Lewis? Are you going to stay up for the whole 72 hours? I don't know if this is a threat or an opportunity.
I've been waiting 5 months for this. So, I used to stay up a lot longer than that, but I had help with drugs. This time it will be drug free.
Would you have help with the Lord now? But I know you used to stay up in the...
right.
The Lord. By the way, Steve Bannon's bullshit, like faux Christianity, is one of the most disgusting things. It's almost as bad as when Don Jr. Pretends to give a shit.
Card counting days and the drug days. It's 3 days for you was nothing back then to believe the book. That was just
Yipes. That's it. So $5 million is going to happen. I mean, I got dibs. I'm just saying, I got dibs on the 5 mil. He's stockpiled crack. He's just got enough left over in his system to do this. I missed one thing that I was going to pull up that, where is it? Oh God, there's so much cool shit to talk about. Oh, it's down here. Yeah. Hold on. I'm scrolling. Can't Stop Lying, just killing it today because there was. I mean, it's one of those days where there's just like magic. Here is it. Wait, is it? Yeah, this is it. Yeah, hold on. You gotta pause it. I think. Okay. Yeah, all right. So here we go. Let me pull this up. I don't know if I want to do Greg Kelly next, or if I want to do Brian Kilmeade next. There's so much stuff. I'll tell you what. Let's get Jimmy Dore out of the way, since I don't even like him being in my browser. Jimmy Dore and his buddy, still COVID distancing, which I think is weird. I would think they would share a love seat at this point. I almost feel like I should have. This segment is dedicated to Carlos Alazraqui, who does not give either one of these assholes an inch, which I think is what they have between them. So let's see what this conversation. Tell us about identity politics. I'm sure we'll learn something, and I'm sure. Jimmy will defend the BLM movement ferociously.
Left revolves almost exclusively around identity, which is, in other words, me. Narcissism is about me. Yeah, but you...
Well, no. Narcissism would be about you individually. Identity politics would arguably, and it's not something I necessarily support, but the idea is that it's not about me, it's about we. It's about a group that you belong to, that you recognize that as an Asian person or a white person or a black person or a Christian or some group that you have aligned yourself with or that you are biologically aligned to, that you find a commonality in the political needs of that group, and it directly reflects a political need that you yourself have, and therefore that alignment drives most of how you vote. That would be the upside of identity politics. It would not be this narcissistic... unless Tucker Carlson is now a race, which is entirely possible.
You kept talking about economics. That used to be...
Well, it's because he's a classist. Yeah.
The central conversation on the left, or in America, actually. Yeah. Why no more?
Yeah, we got all caught up in that whole civil rights era thing. Yeah, kind of.
Because the establishment has learned how to co-opt identity politics to put the brakes on economic progress and justice. So
that's why. So Democrats pretend to care about, like, they pass Asian hate crime bills and they support movements for racial justice and that kind of stuff, but they only do that so that they can stop the $15 minimum wage from passing. That's why. That's the reasoning.
So the joke I do.
Oh, it's the joke I do. They made you clear jokes. You couldn't just come on and rant. This is what happens when you have to pre-clear what you're going to say with the producer.
So if you want to help, I would say if you want to help black people, nothing would help them more than free college, student loan relief, and Medicare for all, and a living wage. You want to help them? That would be the way to help them.
But why is that a joke?
Biden comes in, does none of those things, but he makes Juneteenth a holiday.
Biden just forgave $57 million in student loan debt in the federal system because he can. He doesn't have the ability by himself to do that. He ran on it. They're pushing for it. They've got a bill coming up to do it. But this is, by the way, think about what it takes to, and by the way, living wage, they've been pushing for $15 minimum wage. It's spreading across the country anyways. Most of the states have it. That's how it's going to work out. Most states are going to get $15 minimum wage based on that idea. But the idea that somehow that Biden only made Juneteenth a holiday was to cover so he wouldn't have to do any of the other things, because that's really what the Biden administration is about. It's this they use the illusion of caring about other races simply to avoid having to pass, especially in the case of Medicare for all, something he didn't actually run on.
So do you understand?
Biden cannot forgive student loan debt tomorrow, Tony Clifton. He cannot. You cannot do that by an executive order. That's lunacy. And by the way, you don't explain a joke. I don't know that it was a joke. That's the thing. If that's a joke,
Understand what I'm talking about?
Oh, I do understand.
So that
yeah, of all people. I mean, yes, Tucker Carlson understands. The guy who his head writer was a white supremacist incel who was writing on like Reddit boards, anti-Semitic stuff, anti-women stuff, anti-black stuff, got caught doing it. Tucker never knew the guy. How could he know that his head writer hung out on those things and wrote under that? I mean, why would you know? It's not the guy you hang out with the most on your show. Of course Tucker Carlson understands that Juneteenth is just a way to keep Tucker Carlson from wanting Medicare for all.
it's all signals, but there's no substance. We're signaling that we want to help the minority community, but we're not actually helping them. So that's what.
Who's we? And because that's right, because Jimmy's a Republican.
Identity politics is. It's a big diversion. And the joke I say, if it was 1860, the Democrats would be bragging about their first transgendered slave owner. And so what I'm trying to tell.
First transgendered slave owner. Yikes. Does that work? I'm going to guess you get a lot of clapter at your shows, Jimmy. You know what I mean? Not real laughs, but people like, fucking A. Can you wrap this show up? Tucker's on in like half an hour. And I want to get home and watch it. I guess I can watch it on my phone.
What I tell people is that when you vote for them, when you vote for somebody inside the Democratic Party, no matter what they say, no matter what they believe, they're going to go along with Nancy Pelosi. And Nancy Pelosi goes along with Goldman Sachs and Raytheon. So when you're
yeah, that's who Nancy Pelosi's a big. If it wasn't for her, Raytheon wouldn't exist. Raytheon. Okay, I would have thought just fall back, just say big tech. Tucker's not gonna get a Raytheon reference. Jesus Christ. I don't watch a lot of Jimmy shit, so this is very weird.
When you're voting for someone inside the Democratic Party, you're voting for Goldman Sachs and Raytheon because they are not standing up to those people. So the idea that we
is you got to vote. What you have to do is attack Democrats nonstop, no matter what they do that you're for, by pretending they never do the stuff that you say you're for, so that the stuff that you say you're for never gets done. And then you make a living shitting on those people.
That we have progressives inside the Democratic Party, it's actually more deleterious to the progressive movement to have them there. Why is that, Jimmy? Because it gives people a false impression that there's somebody in government fighting for you, that there's one of the parties that are kind of on your side, and they aren't. And the quick...
Yeah, they are. there's a very big distinction between the parties. Are there people like the mansions of the world where you wish they were a little further this way? Absolutely. But this idea that somehow, like, no, the real Kremlin is the Democratic Party.
The quicker people realize that both parties are not on their side, they only serve the oligarchy. We are, in fact, in an oligarchy. Your democracy was stolen way before Trump. Until that happens, we won't ever have real change.
But what about Ocasio-Cortez? She's on Instagram.
Ocasio-Cortez campaigned on a floor vote on Medicare for all. And she campaigned on creating what she called a ruckus, meaning you have to stop being polite. This is a quote. You have to stop being polite. We tried being polite, and it got us nowhere.
Well, actually, no, it got us the ACA, which saved like 24 million people's lives and continues to this day to provide health care for millions of Americans who didn't have it before. And if they'd have just fought for all or nothing, none of those people would be alive. But fuck them, right? I mean, if we're going for the Maoist revolution, we gotta dust off like 40 million people in the process. Or do you even really Mao, bro?
It wasn't until we started acting out and speaking impolitely that we even created the circumstances for change. That's what she tweeted. So I'm just doing what she said. So I started to put heat on people like AOC. And
by the way, putting heat on AOC means calling her a fucking moron and a coward, and calling Bernie a coward, and saying that they're worse than the establishment, and they're even worse because this whole illusion of someone, what he just said about the Democratic establishment gives you this idea that there's people that you can actually root for and that are actually doing what you want them to do, and that illusion, is worse than not having them there. He believes that in spades about the Squad and Bernie Sanders. I mean, the videos of him turning on Bernie Sanders is fucking, it's amazing.
And Rashid Tlaib,
considering how, he spent spent 2 whole presidential campaigns giving the dude a rusty trombone, and now he's like, I don't even know this song.
And Ro Khanna and all the Justice Democrats and the Squad to force the vote, and they said I was committing violence against them with my words. That's how scared they got.
Were you?
That's how scared. You really telling them to do what they ran on?
Nobody thinks Jimmy Dore is funnier than Tucker Carlson. That should tell you something. I'm surprised, Tucker, that you didn't give him a bigger laugh on the transgender slave owner gag.
That's violence. That's how afraid they were, and all the things. So they.
Yeah, they are. They are for women. And you're inciting violence against, because you raise it to the level of people are going to get killed. And by the way, they have reason to be afraid because Jimmy Dore has previously driven his, a couple of his viewers to actually murder people. So it's not like they just grabbed that out of the air.
So they had people write hit pieces on me in the New York Magazine, Newsweek, BuzzFeed. They tried to shut me down and squelch.
Yeah, AOC was trying to shut Jimmy Dore down.
They made me trend on Twitter negatively.
Oh my God, they made you trend on Twitter negatively? No. How dare they? How dare you? Someone made you trend negatively on Jimmy. Someone made you trend negatively on Twitter?
Negatively, but they couldn't shut me up. And
well, maybe they weren't trying, and you were exaggerating their desires to make it look like you were a target and playing the victim card. You know who's an expert on that? The dude you're actually talking to right now. You guys should hang.
And they couldn't stop me, and they don't know what to do with me because, again, all the usual. They have Wikipedia putting smears on me that I can't get rid.
Oh my God, wait a minute. People are putting things on your Wikipedia that make you look bad temporarily? Oh my God, how do you withstand these attacks? I'd sue, Jimmy.
CNN's calling me now. It's
oh my God, if CNN is calling you, you're fucked.
Unbelievable what's going on.
It is unbelievable that CNN is actually calling him. I mean, they're not calling him to be on. They're getting quotes from him for a story on their online page.
A comedian, a pothead comedian in his garage, what you can do when you want to tell the truth inside journalism and politics, and you can create a ruckus. And I did.
Something's weird here. I just noticed this. You'll have to excuse me 1 second. Let's see. I'll go here. I need to find, because this just happened. This is a brand new clip. Give me 1 second. Jimmy Dore. And I'll have to find something recent. I see. There you go. It's Jimmy Dore. So I can pause that. I'll just grab, what's the newest one? Here's one. Let's see, grab a new one real quick. Hold on. Let me mute this. Okay, this one happened after that video. So, all right, let me see something real quick. Let's go back. Let's see. Gonna do it here. Second. Okay, this is. That's him on June 27th. And that's him today. And that's him on June 27th. And that's him on Tucker. And that's him on June 27th. And that's... I have to give Jimmy credit. He gave himself a little Just for Men right before going on Tucker. This was a serious date. Because you only Just for Men for a keeper. Yeah, that's sweet. There you go. You know what? If I was Tucker Carlson and I was a grown man and I had any morals and a functioning penis, I'd be flattered. But I'm sorry. We interrupted you, Jimmy. Where were you? You're being trended negatively on Twitter. People were writing things on your Wikipedia page that you didn't like, and what else? CNN was calling. That's what it was.
And so now everybody sees that those people are fakers. And they're...
By the way, he's talking about the squad. He's not talking about Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi. He's not talking about Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema. He's not bitching about Eric Swalwell or Chris Murphy. He is on Tucker Carlson specifically for the purpose of attacking the squad and AOC.
And they're corrupt. And the reason...
And they're corrupt. By the way, the squad is corrupt, just so you know. The squad and Bernie Sanders are corrupt. Just to clarify. Yeah.
Why I say they're corrupt is not because they take corporate money and do the bidding of corporations, but...
No, I mean, Tucker Carlson's going to cut to a commercial in a moment for somebody that you supposedly think you're against.
They're doing the bidding of their own career, right? Their own self-dealing.
Yeah.
So if I...
Well, they represent the people, and therefore if they represent the actual people that got them elected, not just some sort of rando asshole in California, pothead comedian in his garage, former TYT host in his garage, smoking pot, I guess is the idea, rather than trying to make him happy, they're actually trying to represent their actual constituents, and their actual constituents aren't hardline lunatics who turn on anybody who's not 100% on board and would be, if there was some sort of revolutionary movement, revolution moment, he'd be the ones directing who gets bayoneted.
If I go along with the establishment, I'm...
Yes, Jimmy Carter is absolutely corrupt. Are you kidding?
I'm going to get a book deal, I'm going to get speaking fees, and I'm going to be in Congress for at least 5 years, and then I get a pension for the rest of my life. That is...
Or they could just be representing the actual constituencies they're in, because a lot of them were in blue districts. They just made bluer technically by running, but they still have to get reelected in those districts that had, say, long-running, what you would view as centrist or corporate Dems, which are just, tags you're throwing on them because they don't do what you tell them to do while you're screaming in your garage, apparently. That those folks, they want to actually represent the people in their district instead of you for some reason. And Tucker, because basically Jimmy Dore is just a delivery system for what Tucker Carlson wants the left to say.
Corrupt, and that's why they're not pushing back. Because Nancy Pelosi could come in and crush you. Hey, we'll fund somebody in a primary to your left, just like she did to Joe Crowley, AOC, right? So that's what they're all afraid of. They're afraid of the power of the establishment taking away what little power and that they have in Congress.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
That's it. This was, I would like to say for the record, the name of this clip is Comedian Tells Tucker Carlson His Take on Identity Politics. That was the name of this clip. Now, that's not Jimmy Dore's responsibility. That's somebody at Fox News or Tucker Carlson's, Tucker Carlson Today is part of the Tucker Carlson Originals on Fox News Channel, Tucker Carlson's non-offshoot Fox Nation Wood show that he's on. That's not their responsibility. But ultimately, look what this conversation about identity politics dovetailed into. This segment is 4 minutes and 10 seconds long. And the conversation about identity politics, what do you think of identity politics? Like, it's narcissism. That was the start of, let's see, where's the, he jumps right, here we go. This is, let's remember the premise of Tucker Carlson's question here.
Which is, in other words, me.
Okay, hold on. Back.
The conversation on the left revolves almost exclusively around identity, which is, in other words, me. Narcissism is about me.
Yeah.
But you kept talking.
And by the way, yeah, Jimmy says that the left's entire conversation, the left, he didn't say Democrats, I don't think. Did he? I'm sorry.
The conversation on the left revolves almost.
Yeah, no, the conversation on the left, not the conversation in Democratic circles, not Nancy Pelosi every time she hits a microphone. No, the conversation around the left, which Jimmy Dore is a self-appointed, self-righteous, arbiter of. Like he picks who's left. Okay, let's understand what Jimmy actually thinks his job is. You are not a verified lefty unless Jimmy Dore gives you the stamp. And by the way, never turns on you, because obviously the squad and Bernie Sanders that we learned during this segment, they're not left. They're not. I mean, they're worse than corporate. They're worse than the executives at Raytheon, right? And Goldman Sachs. But yeah, so that was the question. The left.
Almost.
And what did Jimmy say? Yeah. Yeah. The left's just all about identity politics. He agrees right out of the gate. And then takes the conversation from, Black Lives Matter or crime bills and around making sure that there's sort of in the country or any kind of conversation about that where it's clearly that's what, or LGBT issues, which is clearly what Tucker is talking about as well. Or, I mean, it's Tucker, so he could mean Jews, but that would be enough. But the idea is that's what identity politics is centered on in the conversations you'll hear most of the place. So most of the time when you hear a big identity politics thing, it's about either LGBT issues, especially trans rights issues right now, violence against black men, against police, the riots and the protests from last year from George Floyd. Like, that's the conversation that's been happening all around. In the Democratic Party, by the way, laws are being passed or literally running mates are being chosen specifically to answer those very things, allowing people to, who have been disenfranchised in the past to actually have a shot at the levers of power. That's actually going on. But to Jimmy, the left is, all they're talking about is just, it's all skin color. Tucker Carlson, 100%. 3 flat jokes later, and then he turns the whole conversation about identity politics into AOC and the squad and Bernie Sanders are frauds, and that they are attacking Jimmy Dore. And that's especially amazing considering how Tucker Carlson phrased the question at the beginning.
The conversation on the left revolves almost exclusively around identity, which is, in other words, me. Narcissism is about me.
Yeah.
What the fuck does Jimmy Dore do? He makes the whole conversation about him.
And Rashid Tlaib and Ro Khanna and all the Justice Democrats and the squad to force the vote. And they said I was committing violence against them with my words. That's how scared they got.
Were you?
That's how scared. You really telling them to do what they ran on? That's violence? That's how afraid they were. And all the things. So they had people write hit pieces on me in the New York Magazine, News.
Identity politics is the theme of this segment.
Week, BuzzFeed. They tried to shut me down and squelch me. They made me trend.
They made me trend on Twitter. That's how you squelch someone.
On Twitter negatively, but they couldn't shut me up and they couldn't stop me. And they don't know what to do with me because
they feel the same way about the Daily Stormer and anti-vaxxers, Jimmy. You're in good company. What the fuck is this? Holy shit. And by the way, Jimmy, let me see if I'll find it. Hold on 1 second. Jimmy Dore believes. Let me go over here. I need my little mouse over here. Jimmy Dore is a lefty, right? And that anybody who's in bed with corporatists or it's all about money. It's just money. Got to get money out of politics. Money is the problem. Let's see. Dore buys house. How about there's guy? Let's see. So this isn't years ago. This is December 13th, 2020. This is in Variety. He didn't mention that he's been tortured by Variety, right? That Moron and the Squad and Bernie Sanders, they're fucking with his Wikipedia page and they're attacking him by making him trend negatively on Twitter. One of the things that made Jimmy quote unquote trend negatively on Twitter is his dyed-in-the-wool Marxist view of the world, where he supposedly is, that how dare there be billionaires in the world, how dare anyone spend any of their excess money on themselves, that millionaires themselves are suspect evil beings. And here's a little article. This is Variety. He got into Variety with this one, whatever. Political commentator. I thought, why didn't they say pothead in his garage, Jimmy Dore? I don't know. Comedian pothead in his garage, Jimmy Dore. That's his preferred. That's his pronouns. Buys rambling LA compound. Location Studio City. Price $1.9 million, 2,815 square feet, 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. In his garage. Pothead in his garage, guys. He's just like you. All he does is do his show in front of a he's got a green screen like I do. You know what I mean? He's got this kind of shit, right? He's just a guy doing his show in a little home office. It's not that big a deal. And it's the big problem is all these people that just do shit for money. That's the evil in the world. $1.9 million house. Oh, yeah. Jimmy Dore, the Pasadena-based comedian turned political commentator known for his YouTube famous Jimmy Dore Show and for his time with the Young Turks, has spent $1.9 million to upgrade into a distinctly cozy, charming compound in LA's San Fernando Valley. Located in a leafy pocket of Studio City, Dore's new purchase clocks in at 2,815 square feet with 5 bedrooms and 4 full baths. By the way, I think he and his wife / partner, whatever she is, they have no children. Yeah. They just have a lot of guests stay over, I guess. All of them divided among the 3-bedroom main house, a separate 1-bedroom guest house with its own private yard, and an additional studio with a private balcony. I guess that's not included with the bedrooms that are there. So the additional studio with a private balcony, I guess that's what they're calling the garage these days. Who doesn't have a garage with a balcony? What kind of Mitt Romney bullshit is this, Jimmy? Fucking hell. How did Jimmy get all that money? I'll tell you how Jimmy got all that money. Jimmy has, he's got his members only show. So unlike me, I like, people can give to the show, become members, all that kind of stuff, but I don't put anything behind a firewall. Or a paywall. I don't do it. Because I started doing this show for people to enjoy, and if people want to support the show, awesome. But I didn't put it behind a paywall and make people pay to see it, because I wasn't just about leeching my biggest followers, which is basically the TYT mechanism, and subsequently the Jimmy Dore model. Also, hundreds of dollars in super chat every single day from God knows where. So, don't get me started. Yeah, was I freezing because I had too many pages open? Sorry, Terry. Jimmy has an OnlyFans. Yeah, it's on the balcony. He does his own version of Stuttering John's beer on the balcony. And, by the way, for the record, negatively trending on Twitter makes you money in this business. When CNN is calling, that helps you make money. If you are making hay out of your Wikipedia being attacked for weeks on end, that'll make you money in that crowd. His crowd that follows him will dump a bunch of shit in his lap because, oh my God, he's being attacked. So that's where. And here's the thing. At no point am I going to say that, even though I disagree with the squad on a lot of things, and even the squad disagrees with the squad on their previous actions, because they're becoming aware of that politics is about what's possible and democracy is about working together to come to solutions, and diversity is the root of our strength, not the fruit of our strength, and we're not fomenting tribalism is not the goal. You realize that after a while. All public servants eventually come around to that if they don't become egomaniacs and stuff. So I at no point, wherever I disagreed with Bernie Sanders about stuff, or with the squad about stuff, or with Pelosi's actions about stuff, or any of these folks, am I going to dehumanize them and basically call for violence against them, or call them murderers, knowing full well there are people in my crowd, which you guys, we know you're not. But if I were one of these two assholes and knew that there were people who watch my show regularly who would gladly take up arms against innocent women and children if it proved their political point and they're just waiting for the day, right? Even knowing that I had difficulties with them, I would never dehumanize them and call them murderers or any of that kind of shit. Especially when it was simply about an argument about tactics, how you get stuff done, if you can even get stuff done. And Jimmy's entire methodology is, look, if 12 million people have to die so I can say that 20 million will live in 10 years, whether it's true or not, and I get to stand on the pile of the 12 million and beat my chest that I helped bring this about, that's enough. That's what Jimmy Dore's entire premise is. That's what his entire show is. It's why, arguably, the Young Turks is a watered-down version of that very thing. They just have started tiptoeing away from it from their, pick the camel toe days back in the early beginning of their show to when they brought Jimmy on and realized they're overstepping some lines. And if it wasn't for the Section 230s of the world, they probably would have been sued by Gavin Long's victims a long time ago, including Jimmy Dore. If any of these assholes ever clamor about 230, you guys got to let me know. Thank you, William. This is, people only watch his show or know about his show because Cenk Uygur thought he was hilarious and brought him on the show. That was it. And then he gave him his own show, and then they basically put him in a dinghy, and then they pushed the dinghy as far away as they could, and then when that wasn't good enough, they cut the line. That's how it worked. It's just gross. But understand... And I didn't know what was going to be in this segment at all. I thought this was going to be him. I know who Jimmy is, so I know kind of the shit he's going to say. But when they're talking about identity politics, I was just curious as this. You guys know I don't pre-watch this shit. There's no universe where Tucker Carlson deserves my time twice. right? Especially about the same shit. So I had no idea where he was going to go with this whole argument, but it was, here he is again on Tucker Carlson's show. And where does it go? Tucker asked him a question about narcissism and is the root of identity politics. And Jimmy takes an argument, a conversation about identity politics and makes it all about him, that he's being attacked by the fucking squad. The squad. Not Nancy Pelosi. He had 3 sentences about Nancy Pelosi, and the rest of it is attacking the fucking squad. 4 women in the Democratic caucus. Jesus. How you actually have a dedicated daily following, you don't have to buy viewers. This is true, Donna. Thank you for pointing that out. So, we don't do this shit that often, but then he's not on Tucker that often, so there's kind of a rare overlap. Hey, let's go from one bizarrely angry asshole to another bizarrely angry asshole. Ladies and gentlemen, and I can't wait. When is Jimmy Dore going to get his own segment on Greg Kelly's show? I mean, there's so much. Yeah, I know he shits on Pelosi all the time, but he didn't in that segment, was my point, Tony Clifton. And my point was that when Jimmy, started talking about Democrats and the establishment, he was there for 2 sentences, and then he went after fucking Sanders and the squad. What do you fucking have to do? Jesus. It's not that he thrives on chaos. That's his business model. His whole business, he's the Alex Jones of the left in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of overlap in what they do. But the idea is that if you ever start trusting the government, or you actually find like, oh, okay, I actually like that program, or I like that policy, you're off the reservation. You have to be kicked to the curb. It's so fucking weird. God damn. Yes, it's our favorite miserable man. I like this face. I didn't really... This is Greg, the true meaning of BLM and the hijacking of America. The true meaning. What do you think? We're going to hear some Marxist stuff? Or is he just going to go in on the Bureau of Land Management? Is he going to have one of the Bundys on? I can't wait to find out. Okay, Greg, tell us, baby. Come on, bring it. And I like the monochromatic tie shirt combo today. If I were you, I would have called Roger Stone and gotten a silver suit.
I like this version of America.
Oh, wait, he starts a
America. I love it. You love it.
I love it. You love it. Graphic. Fiverr. Money well spent. You think we have enough flags, though? And flags shaped like... Because it's not that I love the ideas of the country. I'm really more about the land mass. And, hey, Greg. The fuck do you have against Hawaii and Alaska, you prick? They're not included. You dirtbag.
I like this version of America.
This version of it? With big stripes of blood and stripes of white. And then the Pacific Northwest, it's always nighttime.
Where we agree that we're a country and that we have certain values in common, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution.
And yeah, you don't charge the Capitol on just because you lost a fucking election, and you don't beat cops with Blue Lives Matter flags. I think these are shared values, sure, yeah.
Constitution, liberty, all that stuff.
Liberty, obviously limited, because obviously, I know you want child porn on everybody's phone, but not me. I'm sorry. We do differ there. Maybe that's one of the stripes, is that I'm in the, just so you know, Greg, I'm in the stripe that isn't for unfettered free speech that involves snuff films and child porn. I know you are. I know Newsmax is. You guys are all in, on board. You're pro-porn, as long as there's children in it. I get it. I think it's gross. But you have a friend in Mike Lindell, and you don't even need me.
But this is going away, and going away fast.
Why, did you rent that Fiverr graphic, or?
Pretty soon, it could be more along the lines of this.
The United States of Black Lives Matter. This is... Holy fuck. I cannot wait to see where he goes with this. At some point in the future, Black lives will matter everywhere. God damn, dude.
No
he obviously went to tenor today.
joke. We are going here very, very fast. The entire country has been.
Wait a minute. Did you just crib a line from Joe Biden?
Joke. We are.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Soon, it could be more along the lines of this. No joke.
No joke. You mean not a joke? That's what Biden says. I know you've been watching a lot of his speeches, like hate watching him, cracking beers, yelling at the wife, screaming at the TV.
We are going here very, very fast. The entire country is being hijacked by the far left woke community. We are being hijacked. And that is.
We are being hijacked, absolutely. And we do not negotiate with terrorists, therefore. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of enjoying his meltdown right now. This is amazing. Like, imagine this. Imagine thinking that works. They met about this. They had a meeting. He met with his producer and his writer and his executive assistant that's in his contract at Newsmax, the three people that work on the show with him, his wife's brother, who he had to give a job to. And they sat down and they logged into Fiverr. And they went to a couple of their go-to guys, D-Stormer 88, and went, we need another anti-Black Lives Matter America special. And they cranked the shit out.
That is terribly, terribly unfortunate. I think we got to fight back. And I've been revitalized, actually, because when the...
That's good. Absolutely. So you've taken sort of an America Viagra. That's what we're selling today, kids. Get your Patriot Pecker pills.
Athletes started kneeling. I objected, but after a while, I stopped caring. I mean, okay, they're...
okay. I'm tiny. I couldn't play football if they allowed adults in the Pee Wee League, which was unfortunately something that Greg Kelly clicked on a link once and was overjoyed to find. He was like, now that's free speech. By the way, Patriot Pecker pills. I'm trademarking that right now. You heard it.
A bunch of idiots, and they're kneeling and have at it. But now I'm seeing it's happening at the Olympics. At the Olympic Games, they are kneeling. Our soccer team, that crew, kneeling. And they even got the Swedes to do it. By the way.
So it's not in America. So it's Black Lives Matter. The United Kingdom of what the fuck is Sweden as a kingdom called?
Way, this is not doing much for their game.
Maybe they were tired. They did lose. The Swedes didn't.
This stuff has taken their focus, the athletes, off of what they really should be concerned about.
Like Greg Kelly's now the coach of the female soccer team.
Run up to the Olympics, they were actually wearing Black Lives Matter shirts. You see this? Not only kneeling for the flag, but wearing Black Lives Matter stuff, paraphernalia.
Yeah, because that's, America as a uniquely racially diverse country in the world, more so than any other country, really, especially when it's playing against racially homogenous countries. One of the things we can stand up to is that we deal with our problems and we live together. And we can be proud of that. You can wear that and still kick ass. And you can play against anybody. You can wear a Black Lives Matter thing and then beat the Ugandan team. You can do that. You could beat the Spaniards if you wanted to. And you're still wearing that because if they came to America, it's just a fucking game and you'd still be welcome here. You fucking twerp.
Finalia. We'll get into, in a moment, a quick review of how corrupt and warped and sick the ideology is behind Black Lives Matter.
The ideology behind Black Lives Matter is that Black Lives Matter. The organization formed using the name Black Lives Matter is not uniquely attached to the fact that Black Lives Matter. I'll give you an example. The Salvation Army is not responsible for everyone's salvation, nor are they an army.
But again, this is doing nothing for their soccer. They lost 3-0 to the Swedes, not known as a particularly effective team when it comes to soccer. So, Black Lives Matter. It's damn near destroying this country. The ideology.
Yeah, guys, it's damn near destroying it. I mean, who knew? Who knew, Greg Kelly, that America was so weak that an organization which one of the leaders just had to step down from because she was buying Jimmy Dore level real estate. Who knew it was that easy to destroy? If only the Nazis had thought of just putting up Black Lives Matter chapters everywhere.
And every ignorant person who goes around and starts a fire and jumps on a car, they have no idea what's really at work here. We've seen the results.
Well, then either the organization is different from the people that are setting the fires, or the people setting the fires aren't aligned with the organization or the cause. That's pretty easy. Thanks.
So these kinds of images are glorified. Hey, how about when President Trump went in front of that church with the Bible? Somehow that was abhorrent, yet
Yeah, the Bible's upside down, and not his. He has a family Bible, by the way, that was in the actual Oval Office. He didn't bring it. Do you remember what he said, Greg? Somebody went, "Is that your Bible?" And he said, "It's a Bible." Now, how many of you think that if it had actually turned out to be a hymnal, he would have never known the difference? Is that your Bible? It's a hymnal. Is it your hymnal? It's a hymnal. I think.
Lives Matter banner in front of that same church. That's the scene today, right there on the right.
Yeah, Micah 6:8, Black Lives Matter, do justice, love kindness, walk humbly with your God. What kind of commie bullshit? Get him, Greg!
That's okay. That's beautiful. That's how it should be. A real quick recap about what Black Lives Matter stands for, all right?
Okay.
There is an ideology, there is an organization.
Well, that's the website. You're not talking to people. Obviously, this is the organization, the 501c3, that was formed around the name Black Lives Matter, but that's not, Black Lives Matter is not the name Black Lives Matter. They are an organization that uses the name Black Lives Matter as their organizational name, but that doesn't mean that the people who show up and believe or say Black Lives Matter are Black Lives Matter. But please, continue, angry little white fellow.
And some of this stuff has been scrubbed off their website because, well, they started feeling the heat. But take a look.
Yeah, that's what it was.
At this noxious, toxic nonsense.
Yeah. We are self-reflexive and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk. Self-reflexive. That sounds sexy.
Their mission statement, we are self-reflexive and do the work required.
Well, part of their mission statement, one would say.
To dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk. Black trans folk especially. Yes, especially black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. I know this is all gobbledygook, but it goes on. We build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. Look.
Right. It's run by, the organization itself is run by women. And I mean, you could argue that this is them being adrift from the initial reasoning behind the Black Lives Matter movement was that black men are being killed disproportionately by police. So what?
Look, I don't like misogyny, I don't like sexism, but the men.
But, I mean, Newsmax wouldn't exist without it, so.
This is very anti-male, it seems. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family, mother, father, structure requirements by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care.
We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirements by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another. Yeah, I don't think they're going to tear it down. And the only disruption, and by the way, I would argue from this that it's a peculiar statement that you don't actually disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure by supporting each other as extended families and villages. You would actually add to it. You wouldn't break up. Like, they're not suggesting people get divorced and then just hang out in small collectives rather than be with the person they had a baby with. Honest to God. We disrupt it by supporting each other as extended families. This sounds violent, Greg. I would be upset if I were you. But if I were you, I would be upset about everything.
For one another. This is socialist, atheistic
Okay.
nonsense. And
Well, is there any other kind of socialist, atheistic nonsense?
and gobbledygook. Real.
Okay, good. Well, sorry, I'm not familiar with what officially makes something gobbledygook, but I'll take your word for it.
And we have soccer.
By the way, just in case anybody's forgotten or is stumbling in and never been here before, I take all these topics seriously, but I refuse to take these assholes seriously. So as we joke about this stuff, it is not because I'm not a believer that these things need to be dealt with in a serious format. It's just that I think it's offensive in many ways to the seriousness of the ideologies and the concepts that are being discussed across the spectrum here, to actually take this asshole seriously. Does that make sense?
Soccer
Yes, he already said gobbledygook. He's gonna. I mean, this whole segment should just be called gobbledygook.
players wearing their shirts and kneeling to impress these.
Well, not all of them kneeled. Some of them didn't kneel. Are you supporting the 3 that didn't kneel?
These folks. Very strange. And all
So you're just grouping people together. So you're saying female soccer players are they're all the same, and they can all be put into one particular block with other sports figures who, whether they kneel or not, you're just going to pocket them. And this is the destruction of the United States. By the way, we're going to become Black Lives Matter of America, the United States of Black Lives Matter, because 8 out of the 11 kneeled during the anthem.
Again, as a practical matter, it's taken their eye off the ball, because with this movement,
No pun intended.
has come plenty of opportunities. The one with the pink hair, she's also a talk show host in addition to her soccer playing duties.
Oh, well, then we should not take her seriously, because obviously talk show hosts are complete pricks. Hi, I feel seen.
How can we have this bigger conversation? For me, the point is to get the whole story.
This is the first election where I feel like we are actually voting for our lives.
I have this joke. Are we in the downfall section of our Wikipedia page right now?
I'm a gay female athlete. I can't ever just be one thing. Is there an opportunity to shift our country?
Injustice is not built to last.
How many want to bet that what pisses Greg Kelly off the most about this whole thing is, besides the fact that he's having he's getting a little cramp in his brain from women talking, is that this is on a real network.
I saw the show. It's pretty bad. AOC.
Really? That's strange, Greg, because I would have thought you were the prime demographic.
You know her. Nicole Hannah-Jones with the red hair. She's a 1619 Project person. And what about
That little tongue thing that he does every time he's mad? How come there are no QAnon videos about you being a lizard? I don't understand that, Greg.
Megan Rapinoe, the soccer star / talk show host? What is she again?
A star athlete with like 1 loss in 3 years. She's also a gay woman, and yeah, and she's I gotta admit, she's sexy. What else? Oh, she's on HBO. She doesn't have to make her own graphics by screaming at her brother-in-law while he's on a trial version of Adobe Spark. Greg is a bee lizard.
I'm a gay female athlete. I can't ever just
See, I would think, Greg, you're a gay female athlete. You should get along.
be one thing.
She might be hung up that she's gay. Nobody else is. It's fine. It's the athlete part, I think, they gotta start focusing on. Again, can I see that?
Hey, fuckstick. They lost 1 game in 3 years.
Score, please. They lost 3-0 to Sweden. Better luck next time. I think they.
Hey, Greg, I have a good idea. Next time you put up any sports scores, put up your ratings next to every other network.
Play again on Saturday. Embracing Black Lives Matter and neglect.
That's why they lost. I mean, they've been doing it for fucking 2.5 years, but
Neglecting our primary duties. That's what the culture seems to want right now.
yeah, the culture wants people to neglect their primary duties. The rest of us are actually trying to, are getting vaccinated and having a life and trying to jumpstart the goddamn economy while the fucksticks that watch Newsmax are killing people.
And Jeff Bezos is not helping. All right, there he is, ecstatic. He just got back from space. At first, I thought it was
Near space.
pretty cool, actually. He funded it himself, or actually, I guess the workers did. He got to outer space, had
Thanks. He's having a Jimmy Dore moment. That's adorable.
fun for about 3 minutes. You saw that, right?
Yeah, well done. Here, toss me one. Let me try. Here it goes.
All right. Good for him. He had a little bit of fun. It's not that big a deal. Did not go high.
It's a huge fucking deal. It's a test run on the Blue Origin, you shit stick. And by the way, here's what's amazing about what we're watching here, if I may fluff my hair for a moment, which is hanging. It looks like I flat ironed it, but I did not. I just slept and went to the gym. You know what the difference between my show and Greg Kelly's show is? A graphics package. That's it. Same technology. Same. I mean, he's got a staff. He's got a bunch of other shit. But the only reason he has reach is because they're dumping millions of dollars into it, and they push it onto some cable systems, and then they promote it and that kind of stuff. But it's no different than any other live streamer or any other news, or news in quotes, program on YouTube or any of the other sites. Nothing. They don't have, the real news organizations, even including Fox, have reporters or local affiliates that they can go to if some shit goes down, and they can go to that person. Newsmax doesn't have that. They borrow the same people. They use footage from ABC or CBS or NBC while they shit on them the rest of the time, or they pull up articles written by, Wall Street Journal or Washington Post or New York Times, that the satellite reporters that live all over the world write for those papers. They just borrow that shit. And this asshole is going, and feel what you feel about the Bezos thing, but this asshole is going to somehow think he has any right to, Yelp review the Blue Origin launch.
High as Alan Shepard did 60 years ago, but this is a step in the right direction. Let's face it, NASA for a couple of years there seemed to drop the ball, and this ultimately could take a lot of people to space. And then
we'll have Black Lives. Where's your Black Lives Matter moon graphic?
When he got back on the ground, he ruined the whole thing. He unveiled a great big, rather silly award, the Courage and Civility Award, recognizing leaders who aim high, pursue solutions with courage, and always do so with civility.
Yeah, well, of course you'll think, why wouldn't you take that as a personal attack?
I am announcing today a new philanthropic initiative. And if you could put the slide up so people can see it.
I told everybody on the ground I was only going to do this if I survive.
It is called the Courage and Civility Award. It recognizes leaders who aim high and who pursue solutions with courage and who always do so with civility.
I recommend Chris Evans, who played Captain America in the Marvel films, who's doing his, I think it's called the First Step movement, where he's trying to bring people together across political divides and in civil ways. I give him the money. He wins.
Well, let me tell you how I feel about this. I feel strongly enough I actually wrote something down. We live in a world where sometimes, instead of disagreeing with...
And look at this. What will Van Jones do with 100 million? Holy shit.
Someone's ideas, we question their character or their motives.
Yeah, it's called the Greg Kelly Show.
And guess what?
Sorry, Greg Kelly Reports.
After you do that, it's pretty damn hard to work with that person. And really what we should always be doing is questioning ideas.
Sounds beautiful. It's actually not. It's an
This is, Greg Kelly is taking this so personally right now. He was like, I could have got, but...
Implicit criticism of you-know-who, Donald Trump, and it's hypocritical. Big time, big time. I'll get to that in a moment. What's actually happening here, and we touched on this last night, but I want to go a little bit further. This is virtue signaling. Jeff Bezos went into space with 3 other people. They all happen to be Caucasian. Now, that's fine with me. That's fine with normal people of any race, but...
Yeah, normal Caucasians.
Given the moment we're in...
Greg Kelly refarts. You're giving him far too much credit.
Right now, and given that it's Amazon and corporate America, and you can't have 4 white people on such a stage with all that visibility, you got to bring up some people of color really quick. And that's what they did. They actually used these guys. One is...
I'm shocked, Greg Kelly, that your staff didn't think to put a Black Lives Matter sticker on Van Jones's head in this picture and make it a moon in the sky.
Jose Andres, what is he again? He's a chef. And the other one is Van Jones. You may have seen him on CNN. And they gave each of these guys $100 million to basically do whatever they want with. Give it to their own...
That's right, yeah. If they want to start their own child sex trafficking ring or adrenochrome plant.
Charity, other charities. This is totally...
Yeah, they could direct them to other charities. They can't keep it. Yeah.
Bizarre. Van Jones is... a nasty talking head on CNN.
Right. And how is he different from you, Greg? Oh, right. He's on CNN. And he has $100 million.
We haven't talked...
And he's had sex with Ann Coulter.
...about race. This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part.
Right, yeah, 2016. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Remember, right? 2016, it was a choice between 2 white people. This guy is a total piece of work and a great big phony. He's getting an award, a $100 million award.
Oh my God. We've seen Greg Kelly angry. Now we're seeing Greg Kelly jealous.
Award for being...
Greg's wife beats him. That's terrible. If he does, get help, Greg. You should be. There should be a... I am for men's shelters.
Civil.
So, call me a men's rights activist. Greg, if you need help, well, don't stick your tongue out. Blink twice.
Civil, civil, civil. Is this civil?
How were the Republicans able to push things through when they had less than 60 senators, but somehow we can't?
Well, the answer to that is they're Barack Obama's not an
That's so cute. Again, this is...
Yeah, it's civil because you and I could swear at each other civilly and jokingly. See, when I was leaving the gym today, so I'm walking out. This is a true story. And Teresa, who runs the gym, who's the trainer there, I'm walking out, and I went like this, like, see you later. And she saw my fingers like this, and she automatically gave me the finger. She went, like I'd given her the finger. Like I was working out with her, but she gave me the finger or whatever. And it was so funny because we both laughed at it. She's like, I'm Sicilian. Sorry, it's my way of saying hello or blah, blah. And we had a little kind of back and forth. But because I know I've done nothing to deserve being flipped off, and she knows it, and she also knows she has no animus towards me, we both went back and forth like this for like 3 minutes laughing. Greg Kelly has no one like that in his life. If someone gives Greg Kelly the finger, they mean it. There is no, hey, dickhead, in his life. Because if somebody calls him a dickhead, they're like, them's fighting words.
This is, no kidding, Mr. Civility. $100 million for his civility. So there has...
Not for his civility. He's supposed to give it out to other charities, it sounds like, so.
To be more to this guy, right? I mean, they know that he's a hothead, that he says horrible things that get...
Yeah, why wouldn't this sounds more and more like Greg Kelly's like, I'm a hothead. I say horrible things. Why don't I get $100 million?
Fired from the Obama administration that actually happened. So what is there to this man, really? Well, let's go back to Jeff Bezos.
Hey, guys, can you roll the little video we put together about Van Jones?
Bezos is a puppet master for the left. I thought that was Soros. Is Bezos... Oh, because Soros was executed at Guantanamo and they hung him, and that has already happened, so Bezos is...
Can you roll that little video, please? Short video.
Van has been a part of much change. He has birthed a number of different grassroots community organizations. He also helped us bring together climate justice and racial justice, and what that meant in particular for low-income communities of color.
You can't live in a country where you just have sacrifice zones, whether it's talking about South Central or Appalachia or the Rust Belt, and no...
Oh, Greg, are you mad? He said Appalachia, where the poor white people are. He kind of... See, he didn't make it racial. That kind of, See, even he's upset. You should have gotten one of Sean Hannity's editors. They could have stopped right at South Central. You could have cut off the part where he was talking about poor white people, and then your point would have been made. Now you fucked the whole segment. Now what are you going to do? Back to Fiverr.
No political party stands up for him effectively.
He was always so ahead.
Yes, no political party stands up effectively if you allow black people in inner cities and poor white trash to die on the vine. Agreed? I mean, this is terribly incivil.
Ahead of the curve that a lot of people didn't understand him. So that
look at him holding hands with white people.
It was always hard to watch because I know his love for people and for justice. It doesn't matter to
and for sweaters.
Him what people say. He can.
That is. Did that guy win like the Tetris championships?
Continues to do the work that needs to be done.
I think about what he's done within the criminal justice system, what he's done with making bipartisanship real.
Oh, look at that. Look, it's with Jared. And with Cory Booker.
Criminal justice system. What he's done with
who in
making
this, Cory Booker looks really thin right there. I didn't know that was
partisanship real. Not just what think tanks are doing, not researching the idea, not exploring in history how bipartisanship.
Look at Newt Gingrich is smiling at him.
Worked. He's been rolling up his sleeves. He's been doing the work in real life.
This is, by the way, that's footage from when the National Guard and the Department of Homeland Security cleared a square so that he could stand in front of a church holding a Bible upside down. That was I think that was one of Van Jones' worst moments.
Wow. Did you get all that? He walks through hallways. He looks good. He sounds good.
Yeah, other than that, you have a lot in common.
But let's get to the substance. He's been in charge of much change. He has birthed grassroots organizations, climate justice and racial justice. He's been working for that in very broad terms. Basically, he's a talking head, who they like, who they trust. It's one of them. $100 million?
God damn, Greg, you're upset. Greg, can I give you a little tip, buddy? Okay. The next time you want to do that where the video's coming, you've done a pre-production meeting on your show. I mean, I do this stuff off the cuff so people know that I'm just witty and smart. It's kind of it's a narcissistic endeavor, quite frankly. Just the fact that I have all this information to call up on, and if I need to show something, I can immediately go over here, Google the page I remember exists, or the multitude of pages that I remember exists about a particular topic, and confront lies and disinfo, the likes of which you blather on about on your show all the time. And I can pop it up in this little screen right next to me with no help. Nobody's here. Nobody's with me. There's not another person. Like, this ain't the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't have 4 buddies hanging out over here flipping switches. It's just me. And even I have the ability to, if I call bullshit on something that I've just seen or said, pretty much immediately reach over and type up something, look up an article that shows my point, or even the actual bill itself, and off again. Or if we all love the VA choice bullshit from Trump about the VA Choice Act of 2014. And I'm able to pull that up and pop that into this little screen over here, right next to me, by myself, very easily. I'm not sitting over here like Mark Levin going, Mr. Producer, roll the clip. I'm doing it myself, all right? And next time, fuckstick, you want to rebut something that Van Jones is, something about him, and maybe you will. Maybe I'll be shocked. Video's almost over. There's still time, though. After your video's done, maybe learn something from Sean Hannity. It doesn't even have to be true. You can get Keynote or some shit and just make a list that appears in this window next to you that Van Jones said this and did this and he never and this that. Oh, Mr. Charity, his charity went away. Oh, Mr. Whatever. Like, you can counter those facts or counter people's opinion of him in a bullet point fashion really fucking easily. Instead of showing a picture of him walking down a hall with his back to the camera, except for the fact that probably the biggest thing that you're trying to scare your viewers about Van Jones is he's a black guy with a bald head.
Again, this is, my friends, a virtue signal. And the whole darn thing is totally phony. So hypocritical. You heard what Bezos said about never question someone's motives. I can tell you where this is going right now. Where did it go when Joe Biden used to talk about that very thing?
It's always appropriate to question another man's judgment, but never appropriate to question his motives, because you simply don't know his motives.
I never question another man or woman's motive. I question their judgment, but not their motives.
You don't question another man or woman's motive. You can question their judgment, but not their motive. I learned that early lesson. It's always appropriate to question.
This has got to be going somewhere.
Another man or woman.
Please, Greg, please, finally, one time, just once, prove me wrong. Don't let this be a fucking dud. Please end this with, I think their motive is evil.
Woman's judgment,
something
never
like that.
the motive. Once you question their motive, then in fact, there's no way to get to go.
Wow, what an important lesson that he threw away as soon as he became president.
Sick. It's sick. The Republican voters I know find this despicable. Republican voters. And they're trying, not only targeting people of color, they're targeting voters of all races and backgrounds. It's with a simple target. Who did not vote for them? That's the target. It's unconscionable. We have to ask.
Okay, I was hoping for more. Honest to God. I thought this is going to be a fucking dud. So the motivation is anybody who voted for Trump is bad. Is that what?
Are you on the side of truth or lies? Fact or fiction? Justice or injustice? Democracy or autocracy? That's what it's coming down to.
Why, we've come a long way from not questioning anyone's motives, right? If you're not with Joe, you're a liar. If you're not...
Greg, Booby, get a fucking teleprompter if you can't remember your shit. Okay, this is an intervention. Anybody who works at Greg Kelly's show, for fuck's sake, put his notes on a monitor right next to the camera. Right here, somewhere over on this side. Okay? So he does... I'm sick of staring at this asshole's forehead. Sorry. And secondly, he's actually allowing in this conversation that, we watched the whole speech. We've all seen what Biden said the entire time. He's arguing that you can be on the side, that your motivations, if your motivations are not that, you can be on the good side. You've judged that the only way to solve your electoral problems is to affect people's electoral chances, as opposed to running a better campaign and being a better candidate. This is a judgment call.
Not on his side, you are the enemy. You are... Anyway, that's where...
Did he say the enemy? No, but just say anyway and move on.
This Bezos thing is going, and they...
This Bezos thing is going?
Just armed a known race baiter / hustler with...
Where is your... Van Jones, please get a pimp hat and report to Greg Kelly's show. Greg is very upset. You're a hustler.
$100 million. And that is a disgrace.
GK. More like JK. But this is impressive. It's Greg, you started out kneeling at sports, and then Black Lives Matter, and then Megan Rapinoe's a lesbian, and then Jeff Bezos stole from the workers, which is this weird kind of side. But everybody, I swear to God, all the hair on the back of the neck of everyone at the necks at Newsmax stood up at that moment like, did somebody just question a billionaire? What the fuck? And then straight to, he's starting a charity. He's letting two guys dole out the money for his organization. And then this hypocrisy, which doesn't exist, but whatever. Okay. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg Kelly. We can always count on you for amusement. I mean, it's a little gross when you do the weird tongue thing. And I wish, for fuck's sake, that you'd at least get one of those Glenn Beck touch screens that leans up against, so you don't have to look all the way down like an asshole. Seriously, dude, if I wanted to see the top of your head, no, it's not gonna happen. Not going there. I will not. Quit it. Okay. So let's see this. Where is it? Okay. Is he on here? Hold on. I have to find something real quick, and then we'll go. Where did it go? Because one of my clips went away. Oh, yeah, here it is. There it is. He's on. Get on there, Stankfeld.
Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, okay, so here it is. Okay, I got it. Is that it? Yeah, okay. So, we go back to, we got another episode today of Grant Stankfeld's mommy issues with the Wicked Witch of Washington. Now, this looks like a 7er. This doesn't look like, you can't, quit the people with the thing. Hold on. I don't think, okay. No, black on Facebook. Good God. Thanks for whoever snatched that up. Thank you. Jesus. The number of folks that are like selling miracle cures on Facebook. Jesus. Buzz off. By the way, anybody watches my show or likes my show or sees my show or visits my show on Facebook or YouTube or anywhere else, if you see in the comments or chats someone advertising, like oleander or a witch doctor, tell them to fuck off, please. Thank you. And then anybody who's in the who's got moderating stuff, please broom them as quickly as possible. I'd rather not have my regular viewers poisoned in a moment of weakness. I'm truly the Punisher today. So here, I want to see what Stankfeld's problem is. And I think he has Don Jr. on. Yeah, Trump Jr. torches Cheney. Oh yeah, I bet she's shaking her boot. Pelosi and their useful idiots in Congress. Stankfeld on Newsmax. Give it to him, Stank.
McCarthy announced he's going to call his own investigation into January 6th. This
means OJ's going to be on it. Some dude named Ted Bundy is going to, he's going to drive back to Colorado and ask some tough questions.
Now, it's true. Republicans will lack subpoena power. And
yes, but they don't want it. I mean, who gives a shit if you don't have subpoena power if you don't want to subpoena anyone?
Ability to compel witnesses to testify. But there are plenty of witnesses eager to tell their story.
Witnesses.
Stories like the people who've appeared on this network, Newsmax.
It was grandmas, it was children, it was dogs, and
It was grandmas, it was children, it was dogs. Fuck, I knew that the January 6th insurrection was bad, but I had no idea what they were eating.
It's being portrayed like we're some kind of terrorists.
Not only did I not get violent, I did what I could to help officers at certain points.
Why would you need to help officers if it wasn't fucking violent, you dolt?
Time we got out, the raids had already taken place inside the Capitol.
The way that we were treated was unconstitutional and inappropriate.
because what? I'm sorry. Were you beaten like Rodney King and, just stand there watching Trump's speech and a bunch of UN shock troops rolled through and kicked your ass? What the fuck?
Well, those are stories that need to be told.
No, they don't. They were told on your network. They're still just stories. I like the guy in the middle, though, who can somehow explain to the other two people you had on why he had to help cops if everyone was nice, if it was grandma, dogs, and children.
Not just on Newsmax, but officially in the congressional record to counter the fake news we will most certainly get from Nancy Pelosi and her sham of a select committee. Well, joining me now for his reaction to all of this is the executive vice president of the Trump Organization. Donald Trump Jr. is with us. Don, welcome.
He's live from the closed dining area at Mar-a-Lago, Bedminster.
Good to be with you. How are you?
How are you, guys?
I'm good.
How is the roadshow of Die Hard? Is it tough dying every night?
Good, Don. I wish it was in better circumstances, but...
What could be better? They just arrested 2 more of his dad's buddies.
What do you make of Nancy Pelosi's moves today?
Well, listen, dictators are going to dictate. That's what they do.
That brings up something. How does his dictate?
You see how the left has responded to everything. They want a one-sided narrative. You would think...
Why would they have... If they wanted a one-sided narrative, why would they allow 3 of the guys that he wanted on there? Was Kevin McCarthy putting 3 guys who supported the Democratic narrative on that thing? If so, why? Why are you not attacking Kevin McCarthy right now for 3 of the 5 people he suggested putting on the committee being supportive of Nancy Pelosi's plan to destroy America?
I think with mainstream media on their side, with big tech on their side.
Well, they're not on our side, obviously. We took them over. We control them, like puppet masters. We rule and run everything. I mean, it's amazing how easy it was. You know what I mean? It was pretty hard for a long time. And then your dad became president, and then it was like, we got this shit. Nothing could be easier.
You would think that would be enough of an advantage, but the fact that Nancy Pelosi would literally kick off the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee off of this, Jim Jordan, the leader of the largest, caucus in the House.
Yeah, ironically.
Off of their Jim Banks, but still have a known liar like Adam Schiff, arguably the biggest liar in the history of the United States Congress. For 4 years.
Well, that's saying a lot. Citation needed.
We heard about how he had seen with his own eyes the evidence of Russia collusion.
Yeah, he has. I mean, that is actually continuing to come out. You do realize there was a big story today about the Mueller investigation, outsourcing certain investigations that weren't covered in this, but that he knew he couldn't indict because of Bill Barr. He actually put those out so that's what you're seeing from the SDNY and those folks, because he knew Bill Barr wouldn't allow him to actually indict your dad, and that's what's rolling out. That's where the whole shit with Tom Barack is coming from.
He gets up there. He leaked during my testimony when I did 30 hours in front of various committees, whether it be House or Senate, about what they all knew was total nonsense. So this is what authoritarians do.
Wait, if he leaked it, it's true.
They want to make sure there's only one side of the argument. There's only one.
Well, if she wants that, she's doing a shitty job. She should have kicked off all 5. I think you make a great case. Nancy Pelosi, you are terrible at creating a one-sided narrative. Why the fuck would you allow the other 3 on? One of them even voted against the certification of the election. Why would you let that guy on? And you only kicked 2 of them. Nancy Pelosi's terrible.
One opinion to be had.
Yeah, don't forget. Thanks, 301 likes. Look, don't forget to give a thumbs up and a like, subscribe, and all that. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks. Help us out. Yay. Thanks very much. Okay, that's my ad.
And again, they will have the mainstream media carry their nonsense narrative. Social media will do.
And you'll have I guess if they're the mainstream now, so that would make Newsmax the lamestream media. I mean, I actually do think that's an apt name. You know what I mean? Like, that's lame. You know, it kind of works with Newsmax.
Will do what it can to suppress the other side, and that's
well, apparently what it can do to suppress the other side is kick 2 people off, not all of them, and then Kevin McCarthy will do all the hard work of suppressing the rest of the group.
What we're doing, we are devolving into what we hate about Russia or communist China and all of the things that we hold.
Our dams are falling apart and we have no other industries.
Near and dear in America in terms of free speech, in terms of equality, are down the tubes. Only one way. You don't see the same stuff happening to Hunter Biden. You don't see anyone questioning whether Adam Schiff should really be on there given the nonsense that he's perpetrated on the American people and the lies he's told.
Well, he didn't actually take pictures with the Stop the Steal people that were at the Capitol that day. So that would be kind of the, you know, again, this kind of like goes back to the whole like, if they come for Nathan Bedford Forrest or Robert E. Lee, they're going to come for, you know, George Washington. And it's like, no, actually, you can't tag George Washington with the guys who actually fought to keep slavery. It's a
told for the last few years, but I'm really glad that Kevin McCarthy is pushing back and calling this what it is.
He's not pushing back. He retreated. That's what this is. Chicken shit McCarthy took his ball and went home. And I do mean ball. They left. They didn't fight. They just ditched out. If he was fighting, he could have gone, all right, well, I'll pick 2 more people. Kick them off. I'll pick 2 more people. Kick them off. Doesn't matter who's on our team. We know we're going to ask the right questions. The Democrats have a narrative, and the Republicans are going to push back against that narrative, and we are united. The reality is that Kevin McCarthy doesn't have 2 more Jim Banks and Jim Jordans to pull from. The rest of his caucus is going, fuck that. I'm not going anywhere near that bullshit because you're going to make me go in there every day and defend people who gouged out the eye of a cop.
It is that he's withdrawing the Republicans so they can keep.
Yes, it's a brave withdrawal. Now do Afghanistan.
Doing their witch hunt because they're going to do it one way or the other anyway. So Kevin McCarthy, it's good to see.
So if they're going to do it one way or another, don't you benefit from having more people there? Does it matter? If they're going to do it anyways, why do you need Jim Jordan and Jim Banks? It's going to happen, so why don't you put 2 more people in there, you chicken shit?
Republicans actually fighting back on the lies and on the nonsense.
Well, not to get you more upset, Don, but
I need to ask you a question. How do you grow a beard and your chin gets smaller?
I want to play you a soundbite from a so-called Republican that Nancy Pelosi appointed this committee, and that is, of course, Liz Cheney. Listen to what she had to say today.
Yes. 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 That is super weird. Wait, watch that again.
And that is, of course, Liz Cheney. Listen to what she had to say today.
The rhetoric that we have heard from the minority leader is disingenuous. At every opportunity.
Are you not going to play the full clip, Stankfield? You scared of Liz Cheney?
Minority leader has attempted to prevent the American people from understanding what happened, to block this investigation. She objected to 2, one of whom may well be a material witness to events that led to that day, that led to January 6th. The other, who disqualified himself by his comments in particular over the last 24 hours, demonstrating that he is not taking this seriously.
Don, I'm going to tell you something. Listening to her makes me sick to my stomach. She's
good. Let's replay it.
Dangerous for America.
She's dangerous for America.
Certainly dangerous for the Republican Party. And
well, that I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, I mean, please, Republicans can't be trusted, Rhino.
Now, I don't know why Kevin McCarthy hasn't stripped her already of every single committee assignment she has.
Because she has seniority and she actually has earned it and she's valuable to, I mean, she's still a conservative and she still, you know, when it comes to budgetary shit, she's still in line with the principles of the party. She just isn't going to carry his balls.
Well, she's lost her role in leadership, and that was a long time coming. They got that done. She's probably never going to win something else because she's clearly not willing to represent the people of Wyoming, arguably the most conservative state in the union.
Yeah, the state with like less than 1 million people and 2 senators.
Overwhelmingly pro-Trump. She's decided that there's a
overwhelmingly pro-Cheney.
Better business model to be anti-Republican. That way she can get a little attention from the left. The media will love her. They'll give her a role on CNN when she inevitably loses her job in Congress. That's what it is. She might...
You mad you didn't get so you didn't get the CNN gig? Is that what you're telling us, Don?
Might as well be a Democrat. With Republicans like that, you don't need Democrats.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I don't even know if you could trust any Republicans right now, Don. I would put up a list on the board and start doing like a ranking of who's trustworthy and who's not, and just start on the premise that they're not.
Because they will do their bidding. So she'll find the one or two useful idiots in Congress. Nancy Pelosi will.
Well, it's obviously easier to find useless idiots on your side of the aisle, but okay.
They'll empower them to make it seem like it's bipartisan. They'll be
little bunny ears
running around and saying it's a bipartisan committee.
Second grouping of bunny ears.
Because you got Liz Cheney and Adam Schiff. Give me a break. No one is this stupid, but they're still going to try to pull the wool over the eyes.
Your father is, for the record. I would just like to, and Eric and you.
Of the American people.
And Stankfield.
But what's really nice.
And Greg Kelly.
Is the American.
And Tucker Carlson and Jimmy Dore.
People have been watching. They've been watching this administration and the Democrats for the last 6 months.
And they have a higher opinion of Joe Biden and the administration than they did of your dad at the highest point in his presidency.
And all the things that we were told, this administration is not going to be radical.
Yeah, not particularly.
Everything's going to be fine.
It kind of is. I mean, there's obviously still some stuff to clean up. Your dad was a bull in a china shop.
We're not going to hurt energy in America.
We didn't.
We're not going to end pipelines. We would never.
Pipelines?
We're not going to hurt energy in America. We're not going to end pipelines. We would.
Pipelines. That's what it is. Pipelines. My bad.
Never do these things.
We'll never do these things with pipelines. Is that what it is? Is he smoking citrus again?
We're not going to start up wars in the Middle East again and create a.
We're pulling out of Afghanistan, and the only people who voted against basically speeding up the visa process for the Afghans that helped us are Republicans.
Disaster there, and they've been watching, and they're realizing now that they've been lied to. And then they realize that the administration will be very patronizing to them, like telling them they're saving 16 cents at their 4th of July barbecue.
Really? We're back to this? This is his hammer point. We've seen, 4 speeches and 2 interviews, and he brings this shit up every time?
When everyone with a brain realizes that if you
drive to the end of your driveway,
start your car and drive about 2.5 feet down your driveway, that 16 cents is gone because of stupid policies
well, no, that's money that you would have spent anyway.
By radical Democrats.
Stupid policies by radical Democrats. The cost of gas went up, not only because it's seasonally adjusted and people are driving again, but the gas you're talking about specifically is because of the pipeline hack, which happened to a private industry, and Biden put together a ransomware task force, and it's partly responsible for the dip in Bitcoin, which I know has been very depressing for you in the last little bit, because criminals all over the world realized you can't hide your money there anymore.
This administration's not the moderate administration that the American public was sold by the Democrats, by the mainstream media, and social media. It's the most radical administration probably in American history.
Probably, yeah. And since the Revolutionary War, anyway. Or since some of those assholes wanted to stop slavery. That was pretty radical.
We're reaping those results. We are seeing the rewards, and they're not so good for the American people. They've been a disaster on every front. And
a disaster on every front. Because, jobless claims and unemployment improving, and, of course, a jump in housing sales and consumer confidence going up. It's all terrible.
And Americans get it.
Yeah, the one policy that I think that people are really reeling from is this idea that people shouldn't get vaccinated because of nanobots and what have you. And those people are leading to a spike in cases across the country, especially in young people who, as yet haven't or can't get vaccinated, and concerned for very young children because of the Delta variant. And your dad's followers and the people who watch Newsmax are behind all that. So That would be a policy. That would be what I would call a policy holdover.
Look, you warned the people about it. We warned the people about it. Your father warned the people about it, and it's all coming to fruition now.
Yeah, eventually.
I think it'll be overwhelming in 2022.
Yeah, by the time it'll be here by 2022. Keep saying things are shitty. It's like The Secret turned evil.
Don, the attacks are never going to stop coming. I don't think ever. I think even if your father wins a second term, I don't think they're ever going to.
Yes. Yeah, I promise I will stop attacking Donald Trump if he wins a second term. Right after that happens.
Stop, but I just want to say on behalf of all of us, thank you for keeping up the fight, and thank your father for keeping up the fight.
Yeah, thank your father, and thank him for that weird coke jaw
I just
thing
want
you're
to say
doing.
on behalf of all of us, thank you for keeping up the fight, and thank your father for keeping up the fight as well, your entire family. Don, thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. And we will keep fighting. That I can assure you.
That I got to deep voice, because people were pointing out the fact that I sound like a baby in all of my videos. And so, yeah, I'm going to start going, guys. Thank you, Templeton Zorat. Thank you, Shadow Woman and Ninka Crinkles and Norman Fox for the subscriptions. Thank you for gifting the subs, Shadow Woman 7. Appreciate that. Templeton, thank you so much for the super chat. That's amazing. $66.60 to help us buy 666 Fifth Avenue. Thank you so much. Not here as much these days, but want to still thank you for your continued to do. Thank you, Templeton. I appreciate it. Thanks to the new follows and on Twitch. Thanks, Lee Mackey, and thank you, Joe Carter. And thank you, Thomas Walker, for the super chat as well. Daniel Jacobs, thank you as well. Greg Kelly, being miserable is my happy place. It kind of is. Francie, thank you again. Appreciate it. Lee Mackey, reminding everybody to hit the like button, and appreciate that. William O'Connor, thank you for the super chat. Jay Hess, thank you for the bits. Party 100. Jazzy, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Yay, it worked. Daniel Jacobs, thank you for the super chat. Please, everybody, give it a thumbs up. He's reminding everybody on that. Lulu, they all laughed at Jimmy when he said he was going to be a comedian. Well, they're not laughing now. And thank you to Saucy and Excited Griffin for hosting me on there. I really appreciate that. Peter, thank you for resubscribing. Daniel, thank you for the super chat as well. 2666. Jimmy Dore was the guy that basically said, forget the courts. We can't vote for Clinton. And he helped the Bernie bros messed around and found out. Exactly. I mean, basically, that's what the driving away people from the polls does. I don't... Must vote, must make adult choices. And this happens a lot with, quite frankly, dyed-in-the-wool lefties and righties to some degree, and, the Ron Pauls of the world, especially the ones that don't have kids. They're like, fuck it, if the world burns down tomorrow, I got nothing, I got no stake in it, right? Thank you for the bits, everybody on Twitch today. That was really awesome. Let's see. Oh, and 1,000 bits from Ninka Crinkles. Thank you so much. My little screen thing is back up so I can see now. This fantasy must exhaust him, Tommy from Ireland. Thank you so much for the bits. Leslie Cosprings, I'm going to go with that. Has been a subscriber for a whole year. Thank you so much. And Dan, thank you for the 666 super chat. Don't forget, that helps us buy 666 Fifth Avenue eventually. We only need 1 billion more. Robert Brunswick, thank you so much. Hal, love you, brother. Thank you too. Thanks, love to all the sparklers as well. Lisa Mia Moore, bless you for that as well. Thanks a lot. And thanks for all the new follows. And yesterday, the artist formerly known as Craig, thank you for the super chats. Yesterday I didn't get to see that. I'd like to see all the camera angles and audio. She's right there. Why didn't they? Oh, that's from yesterday when we were talking about the woman who was walking around waiting for Trump and JFK to come out. Super fun, by the way. That was an exploration, I have to say, yesterday, going into the deep reads of these the Cuberts. And I, for me and for I think everybody else who follows some of these lunatics, it's enlightening to see where they're coming from. Now I got to go. It's a little after 4. We've got family FaceTime coming up. Hold on, I'm a little choppy. We got family FaceTime coming up, and I will see you guys tomorrow at the regular time, Thursday's the only day I'm on earlier. Don't forget to share the show. I greatly appreciate you guys joining me every day. It's a really lovely thing. And unlike TYT and Jimmy Dore and Newsmax and Stankfeld and all those folks and Don Jr.'s Rumble account, I will not and I refuse to buy followers and fake viewers. I'm just going to be real with you guys, and I'm not going to put anything behind a paywall. So if you support the show, you're not just supporting it for yourself. It's not out of self-interest. You're supporting it for everybody else to help us stay on the air and grow the show over time. And I appreciate that investment in the show and the respect that you guys are showing by doing that. It means a lot to me. I thank you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to click on my little thing. Bye.
Probably, dip your toe in the water against Milwaukee.
You're not wrong about that. Yeah, you saw straight away though, right?